what a song choice, dude. Imagine Dragons. Boom, boom. All right, dude. Refocus, regroup, rebuild. We got to get your back in the groove of things. I know I needed this a little while ago, and now I get to talk to an expert who's handling this sort of stuff. So let's get into this show. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business and social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, man. Time for you to do that thing.
Thanks, something's happening in my throat. All right, all you business pros out there, before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on and learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time, and don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we're so excited and honored to bring yet another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. Our guest today is an elite CrossFit athlete, a fierce competitor in the games at the highest levels of a sport that forces participants to push their bodies to incredible limits. As such, it is an absolute requirement for today's guest to always bring his A game. But there's more to our guest than his remarkable physical abilities. To him, there's more to being at your best than training your body to do extraordinary things. It's also vitally important to train your mind, and as an advocate for mental health, our guest is disrupting the health and well-being scene and helping burnt-out high performers reset their health. If you are feeling a bit stuck or stagnant, or if your organization is struggling a bit with corporate wellness, tune in to hear what our guest can do for you. Joining us today from A Game Consultancy out of Leeds, across the pond in England, welcome to the show, Adam Hindley!
Boom, Adam. What do you think? 3 minutes in, Ham?
Woo. Yeah, what an intro. I was not expecting that. The energy is off the charts. I love that.
Welcome to the Business Bros.
All right, man. What you do, your headline got me intrigued. So can you give me that pitch you gave me right before the show, the toxic one?
Yeah. So basically, myself, my two business partners, all three of us are called Adam. We formed a business called A Game Consultancy. I don't know if you can guess where the A came from, but basically, we help people, business owners, high performers, overcome their toxic relationship with alcohol, get into the best shape of their life, and just completely reset their mental, physical, and internal health. It's a really true passion of ours that all three of us have got a different specialty when it comes to health. My specialty is in physical health. I'm a personal trainer and a physiotherapist physical therapist for you Americans by trade. There's a life coach in there as well with us. We're one of the Adams, and the other Adam's a nutritionist as well. So we cover what we call like the three pillars of health.
There you go, Celine. Clip that one. That was this clip right there for that. All right. So, dude, when you said to get them out of their toxic relationship with alcohol in the best physical shape, it's funny because it got me really thinking. I was like, okay, what industry have I come from? I went to an IRS convention, and then there was a little powwow after. IRS, tax people, not so nerdy. Went to insurance conventions, went to insurance shows. Powwow after. They party it up. There's some of the biggest consultant. Real estate people, I've gone to real estate parties. They party it up, right? Teachers, they party it up. Not everybody does, but there's some industries that do. And what ends up happening is it starts off as a good time, and then we get stuck in this rut of that's the only way I know how to network. That's the only way I know how to communicate with other people. That's the liquid courage I need to start doing those things. And they find themselves in a rut. They don't quite realize it, right? I mean, is that what you're talking about, or we're getting more hardcore with that relationship?
No, that's exactly it, mate. Like I don't want to be like, I don't want to be talking to people about this that have like at the alcoholic level. That it's not people that are at that level. It's people that maybe have got a relationship with alcohol where they have a drink every evening when they get in from work, and it's like that moment. Or but maybe it's a weekend that they just binge. They go out with their friends and they just binge all weekend. And I'm not demonizing drinking. It's not something that it ever should be really demonized. It's more of the fact that, is it currently serving you right now in your situation? So say if your goals are to be a fit, healthy person and to train or to do a competition or something like that, is the alcohol serving you to move towards your goals? If you want to be a better father, for example, and you want to have a better relationship with your wife and your family, but going out drinking with the lads every weekend is a thing that's happening, is that serving you towards a goal? So it's almost asking some of the difficult questions sometimes around alcohol. And I think when you go into them corporate worlds, like what you were describing there, them different industries, there is that stigma around it that you're not seen as cool if you're out drinking kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I just want to change that. And that's the whole disrupting the way that the health and well-being industry is, and the way that health and well-being and mental health is perceived.
Yeah, and it's absolutely true. And even though we're punching, giving little jabs there to the alcohol, sometimes it's not even alcohol; it could be other substances. But ultimately, what ends up happening is we find ourselves in a kind of depressive state, and it went from using whatever for recreation and fun to just to get by to now just to cope with some of the stuff that we're dealing with. So if we find ourselves there, like what steps do I take? Like, what are some of the signs where I know, okay, this is too far? And what do I do?
So some of the big things is the feel of the urge to go for it all the time and it be your escape. So if you've had a stressful day at work and you feel like that the first thing is like, oh, I can't wait to have a beer kind of thing. This is one of the small cues that starts out quite early on. And then it may be that like you notice that you're hitting the snooze button all the time and you're not having that kind of drive to get up and go and get on with yourself. Because I watched you guys on Instagram earlier and you were talking about that, like nobody's going to come, nobody's going to be there. It's like that's exactly it. You've got to do the work yourself. You've got to put in the work yourself. You're not going to get this magical fairy that's going to come and push you out the door to go do that run or go do that workout or anything like that. So it is really important to do that. And I also find that if you find like that you're not getting mental clarity on focus on what you want to achieve, your goals that you want to achieve in your life, these are big things that often people see when they do take a break from alcohol and they reassess where they're at in their mental health journey right now and their self-development journey right now. These are the things that really seem to cue people into being like, okay, this is the point where I need to look at taking a break or like changing up my relationship with it anyway.
So what are some of the what are some things that you tell your clients so they realize they've got this problem? They're like, hey man, I got the urge, I it started with the drink at night and now I'm having more, doing it all day, whatever the situation is. They've acknowledged it. What's that next step? What do we do now? And we reach out to you guys. How does that work?
Yeah, so a big thing about it is obviously that acknowledgement, because there's 5 stages of making lasting change, and this is something that us at A Game have coined, and we believe that if you want to make lasting change, whether it's in alcohol, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in your body or your diet, you need to have these 5 steps. And these 5 steps are: you need to be painfully aware that there's a problem. So for using the alcohol one of an example, it may be that your partner's gone like your drinking's getting a little bit out of control. You always seem like you're not motivated at all. If this doesn't change, I'm going to leave you. So you've got a very painful awareness that something needs to change there. And then point 2 is you need to make a decision to change. And if you don't make it, but only making a decision on its own means nothing. So I've got a little riddle for you here. If there's 5 frogs on a log and 4 of them decide to jump off, how many frogs are left on the log?
Well, all of them. They didn't actually jump.
Exactly. That's it. You got that. So the decision means nothing on its own. A decision is just something in your brain saying, yeah, my diet starts Monday, I'm going to do that. It's not actually changing anything. You're not actually doing anything. This comes to point 3, which is making sure that you're getting the right strategy in place. So if your diet starts on Monday, but you're not going shopping to get all the healthy foods in for your diet, then you're setting yourself up to failure because you haven't got the right strategy in place. And then point number 4 is accountability, because you are the only person that you are the only person that you can't lie to, but you're also the easiest person to lie to, because you know the truth, but you will lie to yourself.
So true. That is so true. When you're describing these points, I feel like that was what I had to do to go on my journey from not running and not working out, and when I used to be athletic, to getting into it. And one of the things, one of the people I like to listen to when I'm running is David Goggins, and he's always talking about, embrace the suck, like callous your mind, do something you don't want to do. Because like what you're describing, when somebody's in that state of I need to make a change, where they realize that there's pain and I need to make a change now, not later, that fear of physical pain, of actually feeling uncomfortable and body being sore and waking up and it's cold, that fear of that physical pain is more overwhelming or more overpowering, than actually getting it done. So micro steps is kind of, for me, was the best way to go. What do you think?
Yeah, like 1,000%. It's like, I'm going to come on to this afterwards, is that we live by something which is the 1% rule. And the 1% rule is just doing one thing that's 1% better every single day. So it may be that tomorrow you wake up and you go for a walk, and then the day afterwards you go for a walk, but actually you're going to carry your water bottle around with you throughout the day, so you stay hydrated. And then the next day you might wake up, I'm going to actually just try one, like a 5-minute meditation, guided meditation this morning. And then the next day, after you've built up on your walk, you might go to the gym, and you're building it up. And that's the strategy that you need to get in place that we talk about in these 5 points. And yeah, going on to them points, you've got that point for the point 3 there, which is a strategy. And you've got your point 4, which is the external accountability. Because like I was saying about you are the only person that you can lie to, but you're also the only person that knows the truth. You know what's really going on. Then you need someone that's external to you to be accountable to. So this could be a coach, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be anybody who's close to you, but you need it to be someone who's going to hold you accountable, who's going to be there going like, have you done what you said you were going to do? Are you really, why haven't you done that? Is there something that needs to change? What's going on? And you need that extra accountability there. And then the point number 5, the last point, is taking massive imperfect action. So we can't wait for all the ducks to be in a row, because there's a little bit of a secret here. They're never going to be in a row. You just need to go, and you just need to do it. You just need to actually try and get started with it all. So, and these are some things that we obviously talk to clients about to get them in that right mindset to make change. But one of the big things around alcohol is that the biggest thing that people do is they focus on not drinking. It's like, I'm not drinking. And then soon, all of a sudden, you say it faster and faster in your head, and you just lose the not. It's like, I'm drinking, not drinking, drinking. And you end up going to drink because your mind's focused so much on the not and the not drinking and the not drinking that you're still focusing on drinking in yourself, in your head. So what we want to do is get them on a self-development journey, get them setting themselves a challenge, do like an assault course, like one we have Tough Mudders, which is like an assault course, which is like you get really deep into mud, but it's like over a 10K. So you need to train for it, but it's a really fun event. So doing something like that, take up CrossFit, do a CrossFit competition like what I do. One of my business partners runs ultra marathons. It's like every time that we say that alcohol has been removed from our life, it's when we're focusing on a goal, when we have an external goal to focus on. So the focus goes away from not drinking and goes away from whatever the new challenge is and exploring whatever you may be curious about. And that's a big thing, really. And just really kind of getting your head around something else and doing something different, I think, is massively important.
But it's still competition, right? Like for me, it's always like, how do you level up, right? And I think lately I've been going through a lot of, I've leveled up around the people that are either choosing not to level up or just comfortable and happy where they are, right? And it's kind of one of those weird feelings, because now I feel like oh, maybe I'm working too hard. Maybe I'm pushing too much. But it didn't start off that way. It started very incrementally, like you're talking about. Train for a 5K, right? Something that's like, first start with walking around the block, right? Like it comes in you will progressively get better. Embrace the suck. It's going to hurt. It's not going to be a fun activity that you want to do at first, but to make it consistent, let's talk about that accountability factor, right? The reason why I post after my runs is because if I set it online, like it's proof that I've done it. Like when I'm talking to the camera, I feel like I'm talking to myself, really. This is what I learned on my run today. This is what I'm experiencing, what I'm recapping to myself. And it's to hold me accountable, right? Because if somebody happens to send me a DM like, hey, you didn't go running today, like, or I get called out, like that hurts my pride, but it's my accountability factor. The reason why I get up. I have a 5 a.m. club, Justice League. Same thing. So I'm up at 4:20, and while we're in Justice League, while we're doing our thing, I'm doing my push-ups and my sit-ups. And it's almost like if I don't hop on that call and they don't see me doing my push-ups and sit-ups, I didn't do what I said I was going to do. The accountability is the thing that's going to hold your feet to the fire. The way you describe it is amazing. How do we pick an accountability partner or an accountability strategy?
Yeah, so you've got to have someone that you need to do this for them as well, because it's often good if you're both on the same kind of journey, you both want to take something up at the same time. This often doesn't always exist. So like I say, best things are finding yourself a community. We've got a community at A Game that's full of like-minded, positive people that always are kind of holding each other accountable, are posting wins and posting the things in there as well. Or like I say, a friend or family member who you need to get them to hold you accountable. This is the main thing. It's not a accountability sometimes person. It needs to be a proper accountability partner that's going to be, oh, you said you were going to go to the gym, but you didn't send me that selfie in the gym. What's going on? This is literally what I do with clients. It's like, if I give them an exercise program, it's like, sweet, I want a selfie of you in the gym. I don't want you to text me saying you've done it. That you could do that anytime. I want a selfie of you in the gym. And if they really want to go to the extent of going, I'm going to take 5 selfies when I'm next in the gym so I can just send in one later on, it's like they haven't had enough pain yet. They haven't got to that first point they haven't got to point 1 on the 5 stages of change. You need to have that painful awareness that you need to change. So, and that's kind of how I'd put it together. But for people watching, it's be brutally honest with someone and say, I want you to give me some crap around it if I'm not doing what I'm doing. Like really, like hold me to it. If I don't do it, I'll pay you $50, whatever. Like really do something that's going to keep you accountable to it. Or like I say, you can look out for people that do it in like from a coaching remit, get a PT, get a personal trainer, work with a coach to really kind of keep progressing and building on that.
I love that, because just the fact that they go to the gym, right? Like, first of all, if you're going to take multiple selfies and you have different clothes on, or you have the same clothes on and you're sending me 2 days in a row, like we got a problem here, right? But at the same time, it's the idea of you're taking imperfect action, is what you said, right? Imperfect action. Mm-hmm. That's really what the key is. Today, I did not have a good run. It was super foggy. I don't know. My legs were a little more sore because I'm adding like some squat workouts to the quads. I mean, to the ab workouts. So my legs are a little sore. But I still did what I set out to do. Slower, not as, as great as I wanted to, but it was still moving forward. I'm still progressing. I get so many questions of people who ask things like, well, I don't feel like going. How do I overcome, my motivation? Or I'm not a morning person, or I don't have time. How do we overcome these objections when we're really, especially when we're telling them to ourselves?
Yeah. Well, this is always very brutal when I tell people it the first time round, but I don't have time doesn't exist. It's not a priority for me right now. It's just a way of re-question it to yourself. And if it is a priority, then you need to make time for it. Like that's just a regardless. Like going to the gym is just it happens now. It's not it's a priority in my life so much that it just happens. Like it's not even a question that I miss my session. So it's like if it's not a priority for you right now, then you're not. That's fine. It's fine if it's not a priority for you right now, but you need to be open with yourself. You need to accept the fact that it's not a priority, or if it is a priority, you need to make time for it. And that's a really easy way of questioning it, which often really switches people's mindsets around.
Yeah, I've heard another strategy as well. It was almost like, what is the benefit that you're getting from your current situation, right? And it's an awkward question to ask, because if you ask somebody who's overweight, you're like, what's the benefit of being overweight? And they're like, oh, there is no benefit, but there is. And it's the reason why you are what you are, right? It's the reason why you are. What's the benefit to being broke? There is no benefit. Yes, there is, because you're obviously still broke and you're not fixing it. The pain hasn't hit hard enough for you to make that change. So, I mean, that's what do you think of that? Like, just asking for what's the benefit of your current situation, like really reflective, right?
Yeah, no, it is, and it like we often say is like, how is your current situation treating you right now? And it's pretty much like the reworded way of what you were saying there. And I think that it's a great way of putting it, because yeah, like you say, it's like, what is the benefit? It's like, well, yeah, I get to eat Doritos in my pants watching Netflix. Well, if you see that as a benefit, that's great, but I'm sure your heart and your cholesterol levels and your blood pressure doesn't find that very good that way either. But there is benefits on whatever way you can spin it, but it's whether them benefits are going to positively impact your life or they're going to negatively impact your life. And that's where you need to be. That's where they're saying, have you had enough pain yet? Or getting that point one of the 5 stages of change in place is really important, because if your why isn't big enough, or if your why doesn't make you cry, you're not going to get to that point. You need to be able to think about that you've say, we'll go off diet, for example. If you've got out of the shower and you've seen your reflection in the mirror and you're horrified with what you see back in the mirror, you need to keep that why in your head, that deep why, that emotion in your head. When you want to hit the snooze button and not go on your run in the morning, like, that needs to come into your head. You need to go think back to that painful moment. And if you haven't got that moment, then you need to really be asking yourself some deeper questions to get to that point. What is the real driving force for where I want to be, and what's stopping me from where I am at right now?
Dude, it's so deep when you really think about some of those things. Because, like, to put yourself in that mindset that I'm accepting it is one thing. And it always, to me, like, no matter who I talk to, when it's switching of a mindset, achieving a goal, starting a business, it always comes down to like having a purpose, right? Like, you have to have that goal, that clarity of vision to get to where you want to go. Purpose is what drives us. I teach high school in the morning, and I always love to talk about the kids, like when they're like, hey, what do you want to do? I don't want to do anything. Like, I wish I had no teacher this day, or I wish we did nothing in class. And I hear adults talk about it too. I wish I was retired right now. I wish I didn't have to go to work. I wish I didn't have to do anything. And then the thought that keeps popping into my head was, well, what are you going to do then? Because doing nothing sounds cool until you're doing nothing. Then you're bored, right?
Yeah.
Like, not having something sounds great until you don't have it. Like, actually doing the thing that you want to do, having a purpose that you wake up for every morning, having a goal, having a clear vision. It's more than just motivation. It's fuel, right?
100%. And it's like all of these people that, like, every sentence that you said then has the word have in it. And the quickest shift of gratitude that I have with a lot of people to say, if you don't have the word have in your vocabulary anymore, it's now get. So you get to go to work, you get to go to the gym. And as soon as you start saying that with an actual little bit of passion behind it, I get to work out, I get to exercise, I get to use my 4 limbs, which I've got, which other people don't. I get to do this. I get to push myself to these levels. I get to improve my fitness. I get to improve my health. I get to eat healthy. I get to fuel my body in the right way. All of a sudden, like, I'm motivated talking about it. It's like you get to do it. You don't have to do anything. Like, you could lay on the sofa and watch Netflix all day if you want. You don't have to do anything. You could not go into work. You don't have to go to work. You've got a job. You get to go to work. You get to go teach kids. You get to go inspire other people's lives. It's like, as soon as we change the language around one word, we change one word, it can change your mindset towards it.
You know, I was talking about this earlier about the whole metaverse and the whole idea of of realities and I was talking Matrix with the kids because we are talking about Bitcoins and NFTs and stuff. But anyways, that whole idea of what is reality, right? Right now, reality is what we see with our eyes. Well, as soon as you augment reality, when you put something over your eyes and you have audible, that becomes your new reality. Really, your reality is what's happening in your mind. And if you're projecting things into your mind, and it's really in the words you use, and it's very subtle, but it's huge changes. This is why I don't like it when my kids are like, I'm done. No, you're not. Like, don't say that, because you're going to convince yourself that that's what it is. You literally tell your brain what to do, what to see, how to act. But you got to be conscious of the fact that your brain is in survival mode. You're in thrive mode. Or you could be in depressed mode, or you could be in relaxed mode, but you get to choose which one you tell your conscious brain to be working on, right? I mean, this is really why the words and our brain doesn't work in negatives, right? So when you were saying earlier, I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink, I don't want to drink, you can't think in negatives. All you're seeing in your mind is the drink, right? That's what you placed in your mind. That's why you get home. That's why you end up drinking. Same thing with if you tell yourself you're dumb. Same thing if you tell yourself, I don't know. Same thing if you tell yourself whatever it is that you're telling yourself, I have to versus I get to. Those words are the fuel that your mind needs. That's how you're giving yourself commands and taking control and changing what we call your reality.
Yeah, exactly. It's changing you. You're changing your states. You've got a mental state, you've got a physical state, you've got an emotional state. We need to make sure that we're doing all of these. We're like emphasizing with all of these states. And there's mental state and there's an emotional state, are the ones that you can't see. And if you talked to other people the way you spoke to yourself, you would never have any friends for the majority of the people, majority of the time. And I use a tool around this, and there's a great book called The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, and he touches on it perfectly in this. Is like, stop talking to yourself like it's just you and it's just yourself and you're treating yourself like crap. You want to talk to yourself like a roommate, like you would somebody else. Imagine there's a roommate that's living in your head rent-free. They're just living there. And as you start to talk to them and maybe treat them with more respect, then that voice inside your head actually talks back to you with more respect as well. And we kind of, because we're talking to someone in this sense, and we're not talking to ourselves, even though we actually start to treat ourselves with more respect. And it's really, really powerful. And it's a really, really easy mindset shift. But like I say, if you spoke to other people the way that you spoke to yourself, you would a lot of the time have no friends where people can be so negative about themselves. Like you were saying there about, I'm dumb, I'm fat, I'm stupid, all this kind of language. Let's shift it. Would you say that to somebody else? Would you say that to somebody that's sat around with you?
Never. Unless you want a black eye or two, right? You want to lose a couple teeth, kicked in the nuts or something like that, right? You would never say that to people. Like, you're gonna get killed. What are you thinking? But no, exactly. we allow ourselves to say it to ourselves. We accept that kind of mouth from ourselves. Like, dude, at some point the pain's got to hurt, right? Adam, dude, what a pleasure talking to you today. I mean, first of all, thank you for staying up and hanging out with me. We literally, it's tomorrow for you now, right? So it's not even yesterday when we started.
Wednesday for me now. Yeah.
Hey, man,
it's been awesome, mate. It's been awesome. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, of course. We're big on video testimonials. So I'd like to ask you, what was your experience like with the Business Bros?
It's been awesome being with the Business Bros actually today. I've found the fact that you guys have got such good energy. You've come on, you've kept the conversation flowing really nicely and really well as well. That I've just loved being a part of it. It's kind of got me all hyped up, ready to go into bed, which is perfect. Yeah.
Perfect, man. Well, sweet dreams, my friend. Sweet dreams. All right, Adam. Before we head out, if people want to get a hold of you, work with you, they've connected with your message. How can they do that?
Yeah, so find me on Instagram, which is on the screen now, Adam_Hindley, and drop me a message on there. Or if you search Bring Your A Game on Facebook, we have a Facebook community which is full of people. Or you can head to the website. All the details and stuff are on there as well.
There you go, ladies and gents. Bring your A game. Take a look in the mirror. I love doing this to myself every once in a while. I know that sounded weird, but it's not. Look, I just walk up to my mirror, get as close as you can to the mirror and look deep into your eyes. I know it still sounds weird, but it's not. when you do that, you're going to see all the BS lies and look through you're peering into your soul. At least it works for me. And there's no BS there. Like, you know what you have to change. You know why you have to change it, because you want to achieve a certain something. So if you're looking in the mirror and you're still questioning, there's still stuff you want to change. Maybe it's a time that you want to sit down and talk to somebody about it, right? Maybe it's the time that you start taking some action. Stop thinking about it. Stop waiting on it. Mondays always come and go. Fridays do too. Guess what? There's another second coming up where you can make a choice to make a change. All right. So make sure you do something. Hey, you know what? That was fire. Celine, clip that. All right. Ladies and gents, thank you very much. Adam, thank you very much for being on the show. Appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to make sure we do our promo, right? Businessbros.biz, www.businessbros.biz. If you want to be a guest on the show, we do have a long waiting list, but we have some opportunities for you to jump the line, get on the 1 p.m. show. I'd love for you guys to do that. And of course, if you need help with your video testimonials, you need help with your Facebook ads, promoting your business, helping you create a brand just like we did, let us know. Businessbros.biz. We'll talk to you guys again next time. Peace. We're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation, or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.